New at 10, a federal IRS agent shot dead allegedly by the hands of a fellow agent at a training exercise. The contentious case about to go to trial next week. The agent charged with involuntary manslaughter. We have since learned what the government and the defense are going to say to argue their case, including the victim's dying last words. True crime correspondent Brianna Whitney digging into the court docs earlier today. So what were you able to find out?
Yeah, Vanessa, this is an interesting case. The government side of this is pretty obvious. They say a federal agent acted negligently and his actions resulted in the death of another agent. But we've learned now the defense says the victim would have likely lived had emergency response systems been up to par. The jury is going to hear and see more than the defense ever wanted after a judge ruled what can be included in trial, including the last words the dying agent ever said.
"Larry's an effing idiot." Those are the words court records show were Special Agent Patrick Bowers' last before he died, after reportedly being shot by his fellow agent Larry Brown after training at a federal gun range on prison grounds in Phoenix.
It is identifying the person who discharged the weapon, who shot the victim in the case. But it's also giving an opinion about that person's behavior.
Often hearsay like that is not allowed during trial, but the judge in this case ruled it's admissible in what's considered an excited utterance exception. Criminal defense attorney Russ Richelsoff, unaffiliated with the case, explains what that means.
The idea behind the excited utterance is something that somebody says in the heat of the moment as something is happening is considered more reliable than something that somebody is reporting upon reflection.
The tragedy happened in August 2023. The two IRS criminal investigations agents were at a federal firearm range for pistol qualifications and training. The two were alone in a small building on the gun range known as the Tower, where instructors observed training. That's when prosecutors say Brown was reckless and shot Bauer once in the torso. Court documents say when Brown went to the hospital, he kept repeating, "I'm a use of force instructor. I should know better." But now court records show the judge will allow the defense to present their expert testimony that Agent Bauer would have likely survived if the response time from first responders wasn't delayed and if the gun range had an emergency action plan. Richelsoff says that aspect would typically work for a lesser sentence, but not necessarily the conviction.
It could be argued as mitigation, but generally that's not allowed to prove somebody is not guilty.
Richelsoff says this case is something you'd see in law school with unusual complications where nobody truly knows what happened inside that tower. Larry Brown's involuntary manslaughter trial starts next Wednesday. Vanessa.
So could he be convicted of a lesser charge?
It depends if the defense presents an option of a lesser charged conviction. Sometimes we do see that in high-profile trials, but with this case, it doesn't look like there's any charge that would fit a lesser conviction. So I'd be surprised if that's introduced. I think it's going to come down, it looks like, to guilty or not guilty. And if he is guilty, they would use all sorts of different things as mitigating factors to say this is why he should have a lesser sentence from the defense's side of things.
Wow. Lesser sentence, maybe not lesser charge.
Maybe not. We'll see.
All right. Brianna Whitney, thank you.
Yeah.